Albion Online isn't your typical MMO. From the moment you log in, you realize the rules here are different. No fixed classes, no truly safe zones, and most importantly, when you die, you lose everything. Your gear, your inventory, your potions, your mount, your silver, everything you brought with you drops to the ground. And if you're playing solo, that reality hits even harder. It's more intense, more personal, more addictive. Playing solo in Albion isn't just a playstyle, it's a mindset. It's a conscious decision to walk into danger without backup, to rely entirely on your own choices, your reflexes, your ability to adapt. You're not just skipping group content, you're taking full responsibility. If you mess up, it's on you. If you win, it's all yours. And every time you survive, it's proof of your skill, your awareness, and your nerve. There's no healer to save you, no tank to soak up damage, no guildmate to call on Discord. You're your own scout, your own strategist, your own escape plan. And while that isolation can be intimidating, it also brings a kind of clarity. You start seeing the world differently. You read terrain like a danger map. You analyze player movement. You learn to spot bait, anticipate ambushes, and vanish before the trap snaps shut. You get sharper, faster, smarter. And that transformation, it hooks you. Albion's full loot PvP turns every encounter into a gamble. You're not fighting for points or prestige. You're fighting for everything you're carrying. Every zone you enter, every shortcut you take, every fight you choose to engage in has real consequences. You could lose hours of grinding in seconds, or walk away with gear someone else spent days earning. That tension, knowing everything's on the line, creates a feedback loop that's hard to break. You feel it in your chest when a red name pops up on your screen. You feel it in your gut when you realize you're being surrounded. You feel it in your hands when you escape with 1% health, no cooldowns, and your full set intact. That moment, when you should have died but didn't, is pure adrenaline, and Albion delivers it again and again. Sure, other MMOs have PvP, but it's usually watered down. You die, you respawn, maybe you lose some durability, maybe a few points, but the risk is low, the tension fades, the fights blur together. In Albion, every fight tells a story, every death teaches something, every survival is a real win. And when you're solo, those moments hit even harder. You don't forget the time you lost everything in the mists. You don't forget the sound of enemies closing in. You don't forget the silence when your screen fades to red. But you also don't forget the time you flipped the script, the time you baited a ganker into his own trap, the time you walked out of a 1v3 with all their gear in your inventory. Because in Albion, victory isn't handed to you, you earn it. And when you're alone, every win is a test of will. Solo players in Albion tend to share a certain mindset. They think for themselves. They like control. They thrive on improvisation, stealth, and strategy. They're not afraid to fail because they know failure teaches faster than success. They don't chase comfort, they chase challenge. And Albion rewards that mindset with a world that constantly pushes back. You start reading the game like a living ecosystem. You study spawn timers, patrol routes, escape paths. You memorize terrain. You track player behavior. You build not just for damage, but for mobility, survivability, adaptability. You become a hybrid of fighter and tactician. And that evolution, that's part of the addiction. The psychological impact of solo full loot PvP is real. You feel anxious before stepping into a black zone. You feel euphoric when you escape an ambush. You feel frustrated when you die from a tiny mistake. You feel proud when you outplay someone who had every advantage. And you feel obsessed, the constant drive to improve, refine, and master the chaos. Albion doesn't just test your reflexes, it tests your nerve. It asks, can you stay calm when everything's on the line? Can you make the right call when no one's there to back you up? And when you do, when you survive, when you win, when you walk away with loot you weren't supposed to have, it feels incredible. Not because the game gave it to you, but because you earned it. Loot in Albion means more than just items. When you kill someone, you're not just taking their gear, you're taking their time, their effort, their preparation. And when you die, you give up the same. That makes every fight personal, every encounter meaningful. You're not fighting for pixels, you're fighting for progress, for pride, for proof. And that's why solo players keep coming back, despite the losses, despite the frustration, despite how brutal it gets. Because every win is completely theirs. Because every mistake teaches something new. Because every moment in the world feels alive. Albion Online isn't perfect. It's harsh. It's unfair sometimes. It punishes you without mercy. But it's honest. It doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't protect your gear. It doesn't care if you're ready. It only rewards those who dare. And when you play solo, that reward feels even bigger. Because you had no backup, no healer, no guildmate to call. You had your build, your mind, your courage. And that's why it's addictive. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. Albion doesn't give you safety. It gives you freedom. And it throws one question at you. What are you willing to risk to earn your name? So you step into the black zone. You dive into the mists. You take the fight no one expects you to win. Because in Albion, legends aren't born in safe zones. They're forged through sacrifice and written in blood.